this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago, you all know that story. And in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement. But in light of this evening's events, I ask that all Americans recommit with their hearts in resolving our difference peacefully. We have to resolve our differences.
That's President Trump calling on all Americans to resolve their differences peacefully as the nation grapples with yet another attempt on the president's life. The president gave that press conference right after the incident on Saturday night when a gunman rushed through the Secret Service checkpoint at the Washington Hilton during Saturday night's White House Correspondents' Dinner. Police say the 31-year-old from California was armed with multiple weapons as he opened fire, hitting a Secret Service officer in his bulletproof vest. That officer is expected to recover fully. The suspect is expected in court today. Law enforcement telling Fox News the suspect had a manifesto outlining his intent, including targeting Trump administration officials. The president now emphasizing the need for the White House ballroom. He told me yesterday that a room like that at the Hilton cannot be secured with so many people on top of one another. And this is why we need the ballroom. He later said on Truth Social, this event would never have happened with the militarily top secret ballroom currently under construction at the White House. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman agreed. He wrote on X that venue wasn't built to accommodate an event with the line of succession for the U.S. government after witnessing the last night drop the Trump derangement syndrome and build the White House ballroom for events exactly like these. Joining me now is Ohio Congressman Michael Rulli. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I know you were just 30 feet away from the president when the shots were fired. Can you tell us what you saw?
Well, Maria, it was a normal evening. Everyone was getting along, you know, Democrats, Republicans, the press. We were all talking. It was a real lighthearted approach. Everybody was having fun. The ceremony began. They did the pledge. They did a prayer. The president was settling in, getting ready to eat. And then about 8 or 9 minutes into the ceremony, you heard like a bunch of ruckus in the lobby. It sounded like a bunch of chairs and tables being thrown around. And then 3 or 4 really big thuds. It was just an unusual and loud enough that most of the people inside the room heard it. And then all of a sudden, like every door in the place opened up and 50 to 75 SWAT and FBI and Secret Service guys flooded the room. I was about 3 or 4 tables away from the president. I turned and I saw like 4 guys just wisp J.D. Vance away, and then they all went to the president. And then focus went on to all the cabinet members. Bobby Kennedy was 2 tables over, and Pete Hegseth was the table over that. And they got all those guys out of there. And then they shut down the whole place for about an hour and a half. It was really surreal. It was something I've never seen before. And the Secret Service moved surgically. It was really just an unusual situation, Maria.
It's unbelievable. I mean, to think that a guy got in that venue, he was staying at the hotel, so, you know, that was the thing. He was at the hotel, but to have all of that weapons, I know he did not breach the actual room, the ballroom, but he was right outside of the ballroom. So you never actually got to look at him, right?
No, and I think you said something really interesting right there. And, you know, I know we're making a pitch for the ballroom at the White House, which I completely back up, and will in Congress also back up. But I think anybody who was there, the exterior perimeter was very weak. All you had to show was your phone and a simple invite. You could have forged it. It was almost embarrassing. And then you had people like in flip-flops in the lobby. I mean, that whole hotel should have been shut down. You had 80% of the entire cabinet was there. And you didn't have a metal detector until you were about 15 feet from actually going into penetrating the wall of the ballroom. So like anything 15 to 20 feet out of the ballroom was free game. It was really unacceptable perimeter.
So you are disappointed with the security. What needs to be done now?
But I think we got to build that ballroom as soon as possible. We can't have functions like this on things that aren't secure. You know, anybody that's been to the White House in the last several years, you're about 4 or 5 blocks away from the public. You go through a series of checkpoints to make sure that only the proper people inside the White House. And now we're seeing that we're having functions, and look at all the things that are coming up with 250. I mean, we're going to have all these different events, and we need to do better.
The Secret Service agents in the line of fire Saturday night still unpaid as the Department of Homeland Security is shut down now as we enter day 73. What are your plans for this funding and opening? I mean, the House is aiming to adopt a framework to align with the Senate in coming days, and I want to get your take on how that plays out. I spoke with Senator Ron Johnson and House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith yesterday. Here's what they told me. Watch.
We need to hold a vote right away on Monday or Tuesday to take up the House bill that fully funds DHS. And all we need is 7 Democrats.
Yeah. So
if we don't get that, again, I've been pretty public about agreeing with President Trump. We need to end that filibuster. This gridlock, this obnoxious obstruction by the Democrats cannot go on.
Is this going to be the incident that gets your colleagues on the left to actually come along and help you fund DHS? Do you think this accelerates that this upcoming week?
It certainly should. So many of the Senate Democrats ran as moderates. Now, are they really? Let's have those 7 Democrat moderates. I know John Fetterman will step up the plate. You know, where are the other 6 that'll step up the plate in this moment of national danger? After this moment, we want a safe and secure nation. Why the left and why Democrats are supporting the radical left who want to defund police, who want to defund ICE and CBP? I don't get it. All we need is 6 more Democrats to join us to fund all of DHS.
You just said you need 6 or 7 Democrats. That's assuming you have 100% support from Republicans.
Oh, we
have
will.
100%?
Yes, for funding DHS, absolutely. We've taken vote after vote after vote. Senate Republicans have voted to fund all of DHS. It's the Democrats that refuse to do that.
Now,
has been filibustering the funding of the Department of Homeland Security for 72 days now. We need to use every tool we possibly can. We need to be back in Washington on Monday or Tuesday, and I think it should be Monday. There's a bill setting over on the Senate side right now to fund all of Department of Homeland Security that's continued to be filibustered by the radical left Democrats. There's a bill in the House of Representatives that funds all of Department of Homeland Security except for ICE and Customs and Border Patrol. Let's at least start taking things off the table. Get it funded. Move on. The Secret Service deserves to be paid for. The Coast Guard, FEMA, you name it. All of this should be funded.
the idea that we are in the middle of a war and the Department of Homeland Security is not fully open and funded is just extraordinary. Do you believe you have 100% support to do that from Republicans? Then what do you need? 6 or 7 Democrats?
It's absolutely reckless that people aren't doing it. But in the Senate, without a doubt, all 53 Republicans will vote for it. We need 7 Democrats to join in. If there's a lapse in government funding, that filibuster should go out the door and things should be passed with 51 votes. And that would incentivize every senator to come to the table, work together. But if they don't, the filibuster should be out the door in the times of a lapse of funding like we're in right now for the last 72 days.
So, Congressman, what do you think? How does this play out this week? Will the House adopt the Senate's framework?
Well, I would like to see the opposite. I think that your senator was more on. I don't think the Freedom Caucus is going to go for a watered-down version where ICE isn't taken care of. We have to take care of ICE. Filibuster, I think we should definitely get it on the table. But, you know, you're looking at 10 to 20 different members that if we take ICE out of the package isn't going to happen. So it's a numbers thing. This is a mathematical equation. So I think the math should add up to, like, we pursue those 7 senators, see if we can do it. If not, we have to blow up the filibuster.
So would you support that, blowing up the, well, I mean, it's the Senate, so.
Yeah. Openly,
we'll
I would support it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Michael, good to see you. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you, Maria.
Michael Rulli. We'll be right back. Stay with us.